guys, this is Stormouse03, and this is my Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Dark Difficulty walkthrough. So we're going to be continuing with Chapter 1 here, and we're going to be going on the main quest right now. So, you want to go into the tavern and talk to Zoltan, and you've got a lot of dialogue there, you know, that you can go through. And after you've talked to these fine folks as much as you'd like to, you'll have this little cutscene here, and they'll call you outside. And so you see these guys talking to Sheila de Tanserville that you met earlier, and you're going to want to convince them to leave. So you tell them to, you know, tell me about what the monster was. They're going to say some more stuff, and then I usually use the Axie sign down there, tell them that they need to help their friend. That generally works. And they'll leave you alone so that you can have a little chat with Sheila, and she'll tell you that she was hired to kill the Karen. You aren't really sure what that is at this point, but she was hired to kill it, and you are now going to work together, and it's going to be your job to go and make sure that the merchants who have hired you to kill the Karen are actually going to pay you. So, we're going to go do that. So if you walk along out here, you'll come to the spot where the merchants are gonna be. You free? You just kind of have to go around this entire dock area. And here he is. So you talk to him. He's named Merchant, apparently. His parents had a lovely sense of humor. And so here you want to try to get them to pay you more money, because that will obviously give you more money to work with later in the game, which is great. So here's an opportunity to grab another achievement, actually. You're going to want to convince him, so I'm going to use the Intimidate option at the bottom. And that's going to give me the Intimidator achievement, and will also assure that you're going to get paid a good bit when you kill this monster. And he tells you to go talk to Cedric, who is over in the village right outside of town. So we're going to be doing that a little bit later on when we want to continue with the main quest, but for right now we're going to do a couple of other things. So I'm going to be working on doing some side quests here soon, and a thing that I'm going to need to do before I can do some of those is make sure that I have a silver sword, because once you head outside of this city area, there's going to be a bunch of monsters and things that you're going to need to fight, and you want to make sure that you have a silver sword to do so. I waited this long to actually get a silver sword. You could make one pretty much right after you came into this area, but I waited a little while because you picked up a diagram for a better sword. I believe it was during that quest where you were infiltrating the house of the mayor guy, Laredo. So if the dwarf isn't there, you can just wait until daytime, and he'll be there, and that will allow you to go in and trade with him. And so I'm going to sell things that I don't want or need at this point, and just make sure that I have, you know, as much cash to work with as possible. Again, you don't want to sell many of those crafting items until you have crafted the armor sets that you're going to want. And I'm going to show those to you real quick. He has a lot of diagrams here. He also sells silver ore, which is important. Iron ore you should have no problem with, but silver ore you're going to need 2 of those in order to craft the silver sword that we're going to make. And if you see these this diagrams right here for the blasphemers armor and anathema and ultimatum, those are the diagrams and armor and weapons sets that we're going to want later on. They're pretty expensive. You're going to need over 2,000 orens in order to purchase them all, but you'll see that they are really good. And so the goal is to get them as soon as possible, but we're not going to be able to make them just yet. Before you even worry about buying them and trying to make them, you're going to want to pretty much have all of the crafting stuff, and I'll let you know later on when you should be able to do that. But for right now, you should have enough to make this Witcher's Robust Silver Sword, which will be better than the original diagram that you got. And so for that you need 2 iron ore, 2 silver ore, and a couple other things, some timber. And you'll see that its stats were better than the original one. So you want to make sure that you put it down on the Robust Silver Sword. Oh, some diamond dust. Some timber, some diamond dust, 2 iron ore, and 2 silver ore. And after you have him craft that for you, you will get your craftsman achievement. And you will have completed this A Sword for Monsters quest, because you need this in order to fight monsters. So you want to equip that immediately, and now we are back to our 2-sworded glory, and we can proceed here to some other things. I went by the tavern and dropped off some stuff in storage just there. Cut that out, but you're back in the town square, and we're going to head back out around this way. And what I'm going to be doing now is getting the rest of those training dummies so that I can have that XP boost that I have been talking about. So if you head past the Dwarven Craftsman, we're going to be making our way back to Laurito's residence here, and since it's daytime and since you've already done the quests that were in here, we can go in here without having to turn in our weapons, which is great. And so you're just going to want to come in here and find these 2 training dummies that are right here and destroy them. And so that will be number 6 and 7 for us. And that's really all that you need to do in here, so you can head on back out. So we're going to be going now to another pair of training dummies that are inside the barracks, actually. I guess it's the barracks that are in this area. So we're going to be heading back toward the town square right in front of the tavern. Kind of backtracking here. There's our friend, the Dwarven Craftsman. And here we are back at the town square. And the building that you want to go in is right behind the gallows here. You'll see the guards sort of out front. And when you go inside, you're going to want to go upstairs. And these are kind of, you want to be careful here. And I would actually recommend saving before you do this, because it's possible that you might alert the guards here, because you aren't supposed to have your sword out in town. So it says sheath your sword before the guards react. You can usually get one of these training dummies killed, and then you want to immediately sheath your sword, because you'll see that guard there that was coming up the stairs. He was, he would have engaged with me if I hadn't put the sword away. So you wait for him to, go away a little bit, and then start wailing away on this second training dummy. And again, immediately put your sword away. he was actually very close to me just there. So you just want to be careful when you're going for those. It's usually the guy downstairs that tries to come upstairs for you. You'll see that there's a guy sitting right there, and he didn't care at all. So just be cautious there, and be aware that you need to be careful about having your sword out for too long. And so that's 2 more training dummies down. And now we're going to go ahead and grab the last 2. So we're going to go again by our dwarven craftsman friend. And now you can do these in any order. This is just, I felt, an easy way to sort of give directions. But, you know, it's just going to be through this door right here. So you could have gotten these first, then gone to Laurito's compound, then gone to the square, or, you know, any order that you want to do it. But this is going to be your last one. And you see it says new ability experienced. I'm going to go ahead and kill this other one just for the heck of it, you know, because all training dummies must die. But first, I'm going to show you that you will be able to look in your abilities, and you'll see that it's called experienced, and it's plus 10 experience points gained, and that is from combat. So when you're fighting enemies and such, you'll get more XP, which is great. It will help you level up faster, and that is always a good thing, especially so on this difficulty. So there we go. I made good on my promise to kill that training dummy. And we're going to be moving on. Now that we have some more XP, we'll be able to level up faster from doing the quests that we're going to be doing next. So, pretty cool there. So now I'm going to be moving forward a little bit into an area where we haven't really been before. It's called Lobenden. And we're going to talk to this guy, Cedric, really quickly. And that helps with the main quest. And also in this area, we're going to be finishing up some side quests as well. So if you come down here...
What's your business? I need to know if the forest's safe.
There's going to be some guys in this area that we're going to talk to a little bit later on, do some things with. But first we're going to go up here and talk to Cedric. Make sure to get that out of the way here. Here he is. You'll have a little cutscene, and he'll talk a little bit about some stuff.
Thank you.
And then you can chat with him a little bit.
Lovely. Cedric, what do you want?
And so there's a lot of different things that you can talk to him about. The one that's for the purposes of the main quest is to ask him about the Karen. And he's gonna, you know, tell you a little bit. And it's going to start this next part of the main mission, where you're going to go and get a sample of, I don't know, some kind of ooze or something from the Karen, where the Karen has been. You can pick up some things and loot this area if you'd like. And once you're done with that, if you're sitting here at this campfire, the house that is over to the right here is a place that you're going to go for a couple of things. The first is going to be finishing up the quest Poker Face, because this guy Sindler is the last person who you need to beat in order to finish up that quest. So just like all the others, you might want to save before this just in case you lose a bunch. But you're just gonna play dice with him. And I never bet too much on these because it is just so random. And your opponents, you know, get harder as you go along. But sometimes it feels like I lose more to the to the lesser opponents than I do to the ones that are supposed to be more skilled. Right there, I had rolled a really good hand, and he just resigned. That's something that you want to be aware of if you're going for that achievement, to roll 5 of a kind, is that if you roll like 3 or 4 of a kind, a lot of times if they're better players, they'll just resign. And so that's why you want to try to do that with some of the people more toward the beginning, because they won't resign as quickly. We're going to come back here to the pub now and take care of the arm wrestling contests. And now I find the arm wrestling, especially these first ones, to be pretty easy, and so I'm going to bet the max amount on them just to pick up a little bit of extra coin here. You'll notice that the bar is really big for some of these first guys, whereas the ones when we arm wrestled the guys in Laredo's camp, for as part of that quest that we did earlier, they were much smaller than that, so these are a little bit easier than those were, but they will get more difficult pretty quickly. This one, again, is not too challenging, so you just want to make sure that you keep your little circle in the middle here. I think after this guy, they start to get a little bit harder, and so you may want to save in between them here, just because, it's kind of a good bit to lose if you're betting the max. And it can be finicky sometimes. Generally, if you get off, you're just screwed. Because the bar has gotten so small that it's hard to get it back to where it needs to be. So this is the third guy in this area. He's got this lovely helmet on. And yeah, like I said, his is a little bit more difficult. It can be kind of finicky, especially if you have an old controller where the sticks are kind of, not as smooth to operate, but shouldn't be too bad for you. And he will tell you of one more person who is in this area who you're going to want to arm wrestle, and that guy is back in Lomondon where we were before, so we're going to go back there. Here we are. And we're going to find him and finish up this quest. Bring it on in Flotsam. He's generally around here by this boat. You can find him, Mr. Bartholomew. And you have to talk to him for a second, and then he'll be like, okay, I arm wrestled you, let's go over somewhere else. Because you need to go to the arm wrestling table of doom. So you move over here, have some compulsive looting, and you talk to him, and you can earn 100 orens from this one. So this is one that I definitely would recommend, because you can make, that's quite a bit of money. So for this one, I would recommend saving right before, and if you fail it, then you can just reload. But again, not too bad on this one, and you'll get yourself a nice lovely pouch of 100 orens. And so he'll tell you about another guy who you might arm wrestle later, but that is it for this area. You will have finished this quest and get your XP for it right here. And so I will see you in the next one, guys, where we're going to be fighting some actual monsters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.